Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It's an Athletic Director Tuesday. I'm Joey Mack. We've got Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Woman Administrator Val Johnson coming up in a moment. Ariel Carlson, after the Pac-12 Player of the Week announcement last week, NFCA top performer for the Duck hometown player in Ariel Carlson. NFCA top performer of the week. That means you're, according to the coaches, at least, the best performance of opening weekend across the country. The Ducks went 4-2. They're top 20 in all the polls, and we're going to talk with Coach Lombardi coming up here in just a little while. Also of note today, women's golf is in action. We've got some NFL Combine news, and Mark Wazakowski, along with 3 newcomers for Duck baseball. We're talking with them on the show today as softball started last weekend. Oregon baseball begins in Texas opening day on Friday. Ryan Milano making the trip while I get ready to call some Oregon basketball in Corvallis. We've got a lot to cover on today's show, which brings me to Val Johnson is here, folks. Look, it's Athletic Director Tuesday, so can we just start? I need to ask a serious question.
Okay, I'm ready. Very
serious.
So
we did our signing day special last week.
Yes.
And Coach Lanning made a note about the fact that he's a Chiefs fan. I am a 49ers fan. And he said, well, hey, how about just a little push-up bet? And I said, well, if compliance allows it, and I need some ideas now because I think I owe him 20. So we've been debating, do I film it in the studio? Do we just go, from start to finish 20? That seems boring to me. So here's my idea, but I figured you'd be the idea person to ask this.
I'm ready.
Should I go do, one push-up at each Oregon facility? Before we know it, we're pretty close to 20. That could be a pretty cool video that we put together.
Yes, but does he collectively want to see that you can handle 20 collective push-ups?
To be honest, we didn't get that far because it was such an off-the-cuff conversation.
Right,
We didn't.
I know.
We didn't really outline the entirety of what's on the line. So, what do you think? You're a creative person.
I know. I feel like with this, you really got to get the feedback from Coach Lanning. When you lose,
his
I'm not
going
to use the B or the wager.
You can't do that.
I'm not using either of those words.
Can't do that.
That's a shout out to Jody Sykes and compliance.
That's right.
But I just feel like, the one that gets the upper hand gets to make the call of how you have to settle things.
Then there's so many debates that come to my mind of well, if you didn't settle it ahead of time, Anyway, we're going to have some fun with this. So I know Ryan made sure to remind everybody on the show yesterday about the fact that Coach Lanning's team won. That's fine. Man of my word. We'll see what happens. I thought you'd have good ideas, though.
I mean, there's a lot of potential there. I feel like 20 was actually kind of on the low end.
Again, it was just kind of random off the cuff. Now, the truth is, if the 49ers had won, I honestly think I would have forgotten about it. But
there's no way you would have forgotten about that.
Let me ask.
There's no way.
You really think that the broadcaster's going to go, hey, Coach, remember,
I totally would. I would have been knocking on that door. Coach Lanning, remember that little conversation we had?
Know.
I need you to drop and give me 20 right here. Yeah,
I think
I might have been making a special trip to wherever he was to be like, so, Coach, I know you're busy right now and the game just ended and you're here in Vegas, but I need that 20. Here in the lobby of the Bellagio or wherever we are.
I didn't know this when I had organized for you to come on today, but I just want you to know this is exactly what I needed today on my Tuesday. So thank you.
I mean, I was following the Lanning social media feed. I know he was there.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have been trying to I think you could have got to Vegas easily.
Yeah.
Getting back might have been a little tough.
Yeah.
But if you would have won that one, that would have been a one-way flight, hunt down where he is. Get Sophia in on it, he needs to be in the middle of the hotel lobby, drop and give me 20. Sorry, Coach. I would have been cashing in on that one.
Yeah, well, he watched a little golf this weekend as well.
He had a great trip. Weekend.
Yeah, good weekend.
He needed that. Good for you, Coach Lanning. Good for you, Sophia.
I'm
proud of you guys.
You were on the road.
I was on the road.
Yeah, so when you go on the road, I think that I get lost in, I go on the road all the time with teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just sort of part of the routine. But for you, is there still you get to kind of take it in for somebody in your chair? Is it a little different when you travel with the
this
teams?
year's been a little bit different. I mean, obviously it's been 1 year for me. I mean, last year when I came in, I felt like I got to do it a little bit more than what I did this year so far this season. So this was my first time going out on the road this season with women's basketball. So that was kind of nice. I knew it was going to be a tough one, hitting Colorado and Utah. The mountains are hard, especially this year.
You picked a geographically difficult trip.
Yeah, this one was a hard one. And then also, playing two highly ranked opponents is really rough.
That too.
But yeah, I mean, it's nice because I think, we break it up enough, and I'm around the teams enough that it doesn't seem abnormal to be around them.
Is Wednesday still work from
MKA
Day?
Wednesdays I'm still at the arena.
Nice.
Yeah, it's still going strong. It's really nice. So, I mean, it doesn't feel different.
Yeah.
But it is nice and refreshing to spend that much dedicated time around the team and the coaches and then the support staff as well. So that's really nice.
I'm always amazed, so I've been doing this in some capacity for 10 years now. I'm always amazed at the logistics that it takes on the road.
The managers, hands down. I mean, just watching that operation is remarkable enough just to watch that. And then just the logistics of getting them to and from and on planes, off planes, meals, making sure uniforms are ready to go. There's a lot that goes into moving that many bodies.
Yeah, you're moving a lot of people. I think about that a lot. So, but in women's basketball, checking in, dealing with a lot of injuries. And hoping for a bounce back at Matthew Knight Arena.
Yeah, we're hoping we're at home. I mean, I think if anything, this season is a reminder for all of us of just how competitive the Pac-12 women's basketball conference is.
Yeah.
And there's so many good teams in this conference as it stands right now. Mm-hmm. And to be, it's one of those bittersweets. It's kind of, we're going to be divvying up a lot of women's basketball talent across the nation. I mean, between the Big 12, the ACC, and of course with us in the Big 10, that's a lot of talent disbursement going out across the country next year.
That's a good point.
It's a lot of talent being distributed out there. But for us this year, I mean, it is a battle each and every weekend, whether you're at home or on the road. It is a battle. And I think this last weekend on the road with the team, you really see that up front. I mean, road games are hard no matter what. Going to the mountains is hard no matter what because you're facing, the element of elevation. Yeah. I told the team, you're learning a science lesson right now. Should have paid a little bit more attention about that whole oxygen thing. Now it's hitting you. Now you feel it. Even if you don't understand it, you could feel it. And
speaking from experience, it sounds like.
I mean, you feel it. You definitely feel it for sure. And so not only do you have that element, but then you're going and playing these really, really good teams right now. And I think, with Colorado, that's one's always interesting for us because it's almost like it's a sister program for us. So, with the camaraderie amongst the staff and really even amongst our student athletes, but they're a very seasoned team right now. I mean, they have a starting lineup of all fifth years, so it's different. And each year it's like, you never know what that's going to look like. And, we have a lot of young talent right now, but they're still trying to figure out their system and where they stand.
It's amazing for me too, to think about it. And like you think about eras a lot in sports and really in anything, but
I guess. Is that a Swiftie analogy?
No, but I guess it could have been.
I was just checking.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
No, I didn't. Missed opportunity by the broadcaster there.
Okay.
Really missed opportunity.
Okay, go back to it.
Anyway, you think about eras, right? Like in baseball, right? The easiest example is like the dead ball era, the steroid era. Well, college athletics is really in like still the COVID era, right? Like with all these older rosters that you were alluding to. I mean, that's still impacting college sports across the country.
And I was just talking about it earlier too. It's not even just a COVID era. It's a COVID /NIL/transfer era.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how certain programs, where they stand in each one right now. And so you have some programs that have come out of a COVID area that have their fifth years. Colorado might be one of them. And again, I haven't sat down and analyzed crunched the numbers. So no one quote me on this. I haven't sat down and done that with every team across the nation. And then there's other ones that had coming out of a COVID era that then had the transfer portal era where you might have come out of a COVID and then student athletes decide, hey, this is my opportunity to go and transfer. Mm-hmm. And so then now you're looking at a different type of team composition than what some of your counterparts might. And you could see that across the nation. And I mean, again, I'm sure there's some analyst out there that has this all figured out. I'm not that person, but it does change things. And I think it's impacted some programs at different times. And I think it's probably going to catch up to some other programs along the way.
No doubt.
So you might see a team right now that's heavy with those fifth years that later on is going to be maybe in a circumstance where we're sitting, where you have a lot of sophomores and juniors sitting there. So I think that's going to balance out, and everyone's going to see these ebbs and flows where you don't necessarily see those. I think our day, especially in basketball, and as we know, I mean, I think the average time of a student athlete at any institution now is 18 months or something.
That's wild.
Which is it's fascinating. So those days of a first year freshman straight out of a high school staying with a school through a fifth year or even a fourth year are far and few between now.
Hey, and believe me, I'm the first to admit that I think is a benefit to student athletes in a lot of ways. I've always been one that has said, hey, if a coach can move on, so should a student athlete be able to do that. I've always been on that page, just my opinion there. But that being said, I understand that's hard on fans too. Like, you're getting to know new people all the time, and definitely hard on coaches and teams as transition goes on. But I do wonder, like, as we're talking with Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director, I do wonder as the dust maybe starts to settle a bit, in you talk about like the COVID era, and you mentioned how it's really like three different eras, right? I don't know. I feel like as the dust settles, it's starting to, well, at least I think, we're starting to kind of get a feel for what the landscape's going to look like. I don't know. Is that true?
Every day we wonder, but yeah, you think so. I mean, and that's kind of what we as administrators and really our head coaches try to navigate through. Every single day is, once you kind of think that you caught the wave, you might get hit with another one.
Right.
And then you just try to adjust and manage through that one. I do definitely think that in regards to like our day-to-day operations, you're kind of figuring it out with recruiting. But then as we know, I mean, we just got hit with a new wave of conference realignment.
Right.
So what's that going to look like? And so you just adjust, you ebb and flow and adjust. And I mean, and again, at the nature of what we do here at Oregon, we always try to make sure that it's at the student athlete experience is at the forefront of everything that we do. And if we keep that as our focus, all that other stuff is going to continue to shift around us. But if we keep just that focus of what we do here at Oregon as our main priority, then I think we're going to be able to weather whatever seas come to us.
Val Johnson with us. Tip-Off Tuesday coming up later on today. Going to talk with Coach Altman, Coach Graves, Philly Che, the featured guest. That'll be fun, along with Gabe Reichel. Sat down with the Oregonian. He was great, by the way. Men are playing at Oregon State. It's where Gabe's older brother played. There's some connection there that we'll talk about on Tip-Off Tuesday coming up. Val's going to stick around for one more segment. We've got a few more things to check in on, and I have a couple questions from fans for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Back after this. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Tip-off Tuesday coming up later on today. You'll be with us for the Basketball Coaches Show. Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Woman Administrator, Title IX Coordinator. Did I miss anything on the business card?
Nah.
Val.
I
need to come up with an abbreviation for all of the various titles and maybe an acronym. Just get it all together.
Or he's just like Beyonce.
Exactly.
Just Val.
See, like Sabrina. You're onto something here.
Oh, man.
But when you've earned the one name, like Val.
Wow. I don't know. I feel like
we're putting you up there.
I've got a long, long way to go before that.
I mean, you got to start somewhere.
I'm working towards it.
I think Val is with us. So one question that came in from a fan actually last week. So you and I have talked before about, and last year even, about preparing for various postseasons, right? There's always contingency plans, what could happen. You know, we understand that the women are outside the tournament bubble right now, but you never know. They could go win the tournament, and suddenly
you just never know.
You never know what's going to happen. But in the greater landscape, the women's basketball postseason has changed.
It's changed. Yes, it has.
It's actually quite different. And so I was hoping you could fill in some of the details of preparing for various opportunities, what could happen, and the landscape has shifted.
This is a great question at this time. And so Aaron Wasson, who's in charge of our postseason championships.
True MVP.
Yeah, definitely a man that goes by one name.
That's, you know what? Yeah.
Pooh.
That's right. Just Pooh.
He's earned it. Pooh. If we strive
I'm going to get him on the show soon.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing it.
You got to have Pooh. And so, you know, we've actually been talking. We were just on the phone yesterday. So now, you know, you have your NCAA tournament, and now you have the BIT, the WBIT and the MBIT.
Yes.
Or, I guess.
See, acronyms are difficult.
Yeah. So the Women's Basketball Invitational Tournament.
We got there.
Which is the next
64.
Yep. 64. And the way that they do that, it's your the next 4 in or out. They would be automatic as the host sites. I think that's how that goes.
Yep.
You're like quizzing me right now. We were just talking about this yesterday. And you don't have to have a 500 record to get in, but it's usually then it goes to kind of like those highest ranked is essentially kind of how they're going to do that. But so we have put in a bid to host because you just never know because this goes back to how strong the Pac-12 conference is because you just never know.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, we want to see how things go for the rest of this season for us, and our team understands that, and we're looking at doing all that we can as we kind of finish out the rest of the season. And then the NIT.
That's right.
is still there.
Yep.
It's still there, and so the WNIT is kind of the next one.
It's akin to on the men's side now, like the CBI.
It's
sort of the order of things. Yeah.
Correct.
Very confusing.
Right. And so there is still that opportunity as well to continue playing in the postseason. Anytime you can continue to play in the postseason, the thought process is still play. One, because your team is still able to practice. You're still able to compete. Anytime you can keep that ball in your hands is just better for your team, no matter what. So we would consider all those options just because it's never bad to keep practicing and playing. Obviously, you know, you always have to, you know, take into account the health and wellness of your student athletes as well. But, you know, we'll take those into consideration. But that's kind of where we stand right now. There is a process, you know, for all of those. With the WNIT, we just actually got that information yesterday.
Oh.
Just yesterday.
See, good scheduling.
Yeah, it's really good. Very, very nice setup. We did get that information yesterday. And so with that then is, gosh, I feel like I should have had it in front of me because I was just trying to, because it's shifted a little bit because of the WBIT.
Oh.
With that then is, there is some other requirements there in regards to, then it goes to, if you're not in the NCAA, you're not in the BIT, then it's the next highest ranked will be automatically qualified into that. And then they go from there for their invitation into the tournament. They do have a thing where they give priority to those that have a 500 record. And then, but there is a process that if you don't, that you still could participate.
Okay.
A lot of that's based upon your net
rankings.
Right, exactly. And that's the other thing is because our conference is so tough, we still have a strong net ranking.
So there you go.
So yeah, so
you prepare for a lot of different things.
There's a lot of different scenarios for sure that we look at this time of year.
Yeah.
But those are the three.
There you go.
Obviously the tournament, WBIT, and WNIT at this point.
And shifted, right? Like I said, because the men's NIT is still like the number 2 tournament.
Correct.
Then the CBI, so it's a little bit different now between the men and the women. A lot of reasons for that. And I know we talked a bit about it last year, like the way that the NCAA now is controlling the tournament and the invitational tournament.
Correct.
Looks a little bit different.
Yes.
So there you go. Val Johnson joining us. Okay, the other question that came in from a fan as we were going through, and I said that you were going to be on, so I got a couple notes from people. The phrase Title IX has such a wide-ranging subject matter and a lot of things that you oversee.
Yes.
And I don't know, since you've been on, that I've actually asked you this before.
Yes.
So rather than getting into some specifics, a fan was wondering, so what encompasses that role? Like, what do you do on a yearly basis, maybe, I don't know, monthly basis, however you describe it to people, as the Title IX coordinator, the overseer, if you will? What goes into the job?
So I'll simplify it just really in 2 main categories. One is like the Title IX that a lot of people, especially in athletics, think about when you think about equity in sports, providing equitable opportunities for males and females when it comes to sport. So if you think about that, it's like your traditional proportionality. Do we offer proportional opportunities for males and females? That's like the historical, when you think of Title IX, when we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Title IX last year, that's the thing that we think of when we think of sports and Title IX. That's that piece of it. Then the other piece of it is when we think of Title IX, and this is I think probably what has come more to the forefront on college campuses is in regards to sexual harassment, violence prevention, that type of education. So I work closely with our campus partners on both of those. So every year we do a training with our coaches and staff in regards to harassment, sexual violence prevention, any of those things. And we also do the same thing with our student athletes as well. So there's the 2 prongs of that. With the NCAA, we have to attest that we've done that training as well with our student athletes. And then also on the Title IX in regards to equity, we follow our federal laws in regards to making sure that we are doing things equitably for our student athletes. So those are the 2 big areas of Title IX that I'm responsible for monitoring with our department.
There you go. Sum it up. See? Val.
Yes. There we go.
I'm going to make it a thing.
Yeah, it's just, poo.
We're going to do it.
It works with poo. It's not quite there yet with Val.
I think it is, though.
Yeah.
What does it take to get it there?
Well, he's got more years on me, for sure.
Repetition.
Repetition.
Right?
It's going to be repetition. I got to do some big things. I'll get there.
Yep.
I'll get there.
It's going to be.
Maybe win a push-up competition or something.
See? Who knows what
I'll
could
get
happen?
there.
Who knows what could happen?
Yeah.
What else is going on? Anything fans should know?
Well, I want to give a huge shout out to our new lacrosse staff.
Nice.
That was really exciting. I was really bummed that I couldn't be here. So huge shout out to Coach Drummond and her staff, Theo and CC, their first win here at home, and that was just phenomenal. Highly encourage people to come out. They're going to be at home on Friday. Definitely come out, watch a Duck alum lead a team.
So cool.
It is so cool. Same thing with acro and tumbling. They had a big win at home. That's a Duck alum leading a team.
Yep.
It is like what we are about here at Oregon, all just encompasses into one thing. So definitely want you to come out and support those two teams. But yeah, I mean, just there's a lot of amazing things happening here. And every day I'm just so grateful to be a Duck. And when you see things like that happening, and even if it's just sitting, watching it on my phone and tracking, it's just really a really cool experience to see a new coach and a staff that she built, and just kind of this energy coming from these programs. So huge shout out to both lacrosse and acro for some big wins at home this week.
Starting out 1-0.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Good
so
thing
huge
to
shout
do.
out.
Starting out 1-0. That's great. Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Women Administrator, Title IX Coordinator. Val. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to get a timeout. When we come back, another team that began, but on the road. 4-2 for Oregon softball,
Yeah,
top 20
softball.
team. Coach Lombardi's with us right here in the Country Financial Studio next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It is officially softball season. Opening weekend review. Coach Lombardi is here. Coach.
Hello.
Welcome back. I know it was a long trip. We understand that the plane had to get a jump start in Denver. I cannot believe that happened.
Yes, we had to get a jump start.
Has anyone else ever been on a plane that had to have a jump start? If you have, I hope that you just weren't told. At least that's how I felt. But it was a long trip, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, just obviously it's a 3-hour difference. But,
Yep.
you know, for us playing 6 games, I thought we handled it really well. I think you could feel us a little bit in the Army game.
Really?
Just a little bit in a fog. That was our last game. But overall, for the trip, 3-hour difference, I thought we did well.
Yeah, so review it for us. You know, in general, you start Thursday. It's a lot of games in a short period of time. What'd you think? What'd you take away?
I think this team's going to be pretty good.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. You know, I don't want to walk through each game because I feel like so much happened for you. But, you know, to have your team come out Thursday and then respond the way they did Friday. I did want to ask you about that. What did the coaching staff take away there?
No, this team is gritty. This team, they play really well together. They're competitors. Every game we went into, they went in expecting and knowing that we were going to win. You know, I think in our 2 losses, you look back at it all and it's self-inflicted. is what I take away from that. Not that we weren't good enough to win the game. We should have walked away with those wins, but just self-inflicted.
So to that point, like as a coaching staff, getting ready for this upcoming weekend, correctable mistakes, I guess. What do you want to address?
Yeah, I think it's just anytime. I mean, like you look at our schedule, and it doesn't get easier.
Right.
Every weekend, it just gets harder and harder. And so, to play in these games, it's the team that's clean. It's the team that is clutch. It's the team that's pitching staff gives them an opportunity to win. It's the defense that makes the tough plays, the easy plays, the basic plays. They know how to make those 50-50s. Like those, that's the team that is going to be on the good side of it. And so I think in every game we had every opportunity to be on the good side of it. I just think, when we weren't, it's because we were short in some of those areas.
Talking with Coach Lombardi. Okay, a few individuals. Let's begin with the Pac-12 Player of the Week to open the season, and Ariel Carlson. So listen to these numbers. Hit 500, 10 runs batted in, a couple of home runs, 3 doubles, all tournament team, Pac-12 Player of the Week. How was Ariel?
She's okay. I just thought she could, have a little more production.
She could have hit 1,000, right?
A little disappointed.
I mean, isn't that amazing, though, to start out Pac-12 Player of the Week? So many great players in the conference. That's a nice honor for her.
It is. You know what? Being Pac-12 Player of the Week is no joke.
Yeah.
Anytime we've been up in the past for it and feeling we have good numbers, then somebody comes up and they triple your numbers. Like it's just it just tells you how tough the Pac is. So for her to be the Pac-12 Player of the Week, like that is legitimate. That's legitimate. And what I love with her is that just the start fast. I really want to see as a team, can we start fast? For Ariel, can she start fast? And I thought she did a great job of that.
How much has she grown in her career, Coach? I mean, you've been with her now a long time.
Yeah, a lot. I think of Ariel as a freshman and a young girl coming in, trying to figure it out, and she's just a very independent woman that really understands what she needs to do, and you can feel her on a mission. Just what's cool about seniors, this is it.
Right.
This is it.
Yeah.
So they either go, I just want to get the season over, or they're like on an absolute mission, and things that bugged them when they were younger, it doesn't bug them.
Yeah.
They don't allow things to get in their way. And
Next pitch.
Yeah, they just get over it quicker.
Well, she got over, I don't know what she got over when she tied a school record.
Yeah.
So 3 doubles in a game, part of a 7-double performance that tied the school's single game record as a team. So we've talked before about how, like last year, you had a little more power. This year, you already have some doubles, already have the long ball. What have you seen? Is power going to be a weapon for you this season?
I think so, for sure. I think we've got some guys that can really hit the ball hard. You look at Tara and Allie and missing them from last year, but then you see Alyssa Daniel stepping up. She had a great weekend, and Ariel Carlson. And, I think you're going to see some good power from Emma, Val. You're going to see some power. So I think you can see us throughout the lineup that we've got some good power and the ability to drive runners in.
Alyssa Daniel, 2 doubles, a triple, a home run, 5 RBI. And then, setting the table at the top. Kai Lushar hit 550 in the leadoff spot. You had to like to see that.
Yeah, I mean, that's Kai. It's about setting the table, stealing bases. And then
6 for 6 there.
Yeah, and then letting these guys come in and drive her in. So Kai, like what we ask Kai to do, she goes above and beyond. And if she can continue to do that throughout the year, it's so difficult to get her out. It's just really difficult, but she just sets the tone. She just creates really good momentum for our offense with her being in the leadoff.
A lot of fans ask me about Emma also. First time that you've seen an all-conference player now playing in an Oregon uniform. What'd you take away?
Yeah, I think there's more to come from Emma. Emma's got a really smooth swing. She understands the strike zone. She understands, opponents and how they're going to pitch to her. I think she's just going to continue. I think you're just going to really like what you see with her.
So that's the offense. Pitching, what'd you take away from the weekend?
The fact that they all got in and through, that every single time they gave us an opportunity to win the ball game. They all look very different.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, they're very different.
It's you and I have talked about this before too, like the idea of having a staff and the different looks about it. I mean, they all bring something different to the table, I guess.
They do, and I like that because I don't know, back in the day, you have one pitcher throw 7 innings and then throw the next game.
Right.
It's just not there anymore. It's just this game has been really pushed more to an offensive game.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And you need a staff. You need somebody to start. You need somebody to possibly open up a game.
Right.
Go one time through the lineup and then bring your starter in. Now they're only seeing the top of the lineup.
All right, Missy Lombardi joining us. Individuals now. So let me read a stat line for you, if I could, for just a second. 4 games, an ERA of .70, 10 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, struck out 3, walking 1. That sounds like a veteran stat line, somebody who's maybe been doing this in an Oregon uniform at all. That was a freshman. What'd you see?
Taylor, she's a competitor. She has
no
a lot
kidding.
of emotion on the mound. She's not afraid. She just came in and did what she knows how to do.
Yeah. You have a freshman perform like that. I mean, it sets a tone. There's no doubt about it. And I'm sure that things get difficult for her moving forward now. There's a scouting report, I guess. I don't know. How much does that matter here moving forward?
I think for her, the best thing that she can do is just continue to just do her thing and get caught. I think for all of our athletes, the more that they get caught up in themselves and as a team, and less getting caught up in the opponent, I think that's when we're our best.
Yeah. MLB Network also televised the Oregon Clemson game. Now, objectively, great softball game. Subjectively, Ducks wanted to win a close 3-2 game, but the reviews were really positive. Big for the growth of the sport.
Extremely big. I think to be on the MLB Network, is incredible. You have a lot of baseball fans out there that are huge softball fans. I think baseball fans have the utmost respect for us. They love how fast our game is. I think they're just amazed with just how athletic we are, which they shouldn't be because
But it is a great audience to have, right? Now moving forward, so heading to San Diego, there's no live stream for any of these games at this tournament. However, KWVA, Knight Urezky is going to be there. He'll be on the call. You've got radio for every game. What do you see coming up? Texas A&M, Loyola Marymount, some others on the schedule.
I just think our schedule doesn't get harder. Our schedule doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
It just every weekend it just gets harder and harder. But I think for us that is what we need. If we are wanting to do what we want to do, if we are wanting to host, postseason, you've got to be able to play a tough schedule and be able to handle it.
Top 20 Oregon softball team on the road in San Diego. Full details, goducks.com. Coach, thanks for being here. 1 weekend down. We'll do it again next Tuesday with Coach Lombardi. When we come back, the other diamond, baseball opening day, Friday. Going to hear from that program after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. From one diamond sport to the other, going to talk with Mark Wasikowski. He met with the media yesterday, previewing the start of the season for Oregon baseball. They're on the road, taking part in a big-time tournament in Texas. The Shriners College tournament begins at 1 o'clock for the Ducks in Arlington, playing at the Texas Rangers ballpark against Oklahoma. A 12:45 pregame show on Friday. That means no Duck Insider for us on Friday because we'll all be tuned in to Ryan Milano on the call for Oregon baseball here. Coming up, the season gets underway. A lot of questions, unfortunately, some injuries for the Ducks. Mark Wasikowski, the Duck head coach, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a Duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. He's updating all of us, Mark Wasikowski, heading into baseball season.
Season starts this week, a couple days. Just what's your excitement level going in?
New season, really excited. Can't wait. Probably most importantly, to not play against our own team and get a chance to play against somebody else. I think the team's ready for that, and we're excited.
Is there a way you can tell, like, the team's just finally like, all right, let's go face some other guys?
A way you can tell. Good question. No, not really. I don't think. I just think, we've played so many scrimmage games now against each other. If I'm tired of it, I know they're probably tired of it. It's been great competition. I really like the depth of the ball club. I think there's a lot more depth on the pitcher's mound and throughout the field as well. There's good athleticism. Some new faces definitely in the lineup because a lot of those guys from last year's ball club have moved on to pro ball. But still, yeah, I like what we've seen so far.
How much do you expect the competition level from scrimmages to emulate the competition level you're going to see this weekend?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure. You've watched a lot of tape on the three teams that you're going into play. Some of their strengths and weaknesses from a year ago. You see the recruits, and we're pretty familiar with the recruits that they have and the new guys that they have coming in and such. But you don't know, how healthy everybody is, and how guys have played, and how guys are either getting better or not. Because that's a real factor in everybody's locker room. Traditionally, I know that. Skip Johnson's Oklahoma club is going to be well trained. Skip's a good coach. Tim Tadlock, he's a good coach at Texas Tech. Mitch Thompson, all three are friends of mine. I've known them for a lot of years. Their teams should be very well prepared. They've had a lot of success in their career. So, we expect a battle.
What's the practice schedule look like this week?
A lot of detail stuff that we're going to try to, anything that came out of our last weekend scrimmages that we needed to tighten up. And then more or less the same routines that we consistently do to try to just play fundamental.
You guys have a pretty good understanding of what the lineup's going to be, or these last couple practices and the details that you're talking about, is that going to be the ultimate difference maker in what it looks like?
We just haven't had our staff meetings on all that yet. We've had it in pieces, but not in whole, and that happens on Tuesday.
Who are the guys who kind of caught your eyes during those last few scrimmages?
Quite a few. I kind of don't want to get too into the weeds because I know how valuable information is out there in terms of preparation. But I can say this much: there was a lot of really good performances over the last 3 days. Both offensively and on the pitcher's mound. Consistently, we've played good defense, which is always encouraging. Athletically in the outfield, it seems like we're able to run the ball down as we've been accustomed to seeing, which is great. Overall, health-wise, we had, for the most part, we're pretty healthy. We had some guys get limited in some things over the last weekend, just as a precautionary thing to where they can be at 100% for this coming week and the weekend.
Other than winning, of course, what are some things that you're kind of looking for out of this weekend to make it a success, do you think?
We actually, the winning is always awesome, right? But we just focus on just improvement daily. And we really focus on, just trying to teach best effort every single day. And, are you good with the job that you did from the start of the day all the way until you put your head on the pillow? Did you nail every detail that you could have? And we're teaching that. And it's a challenge, for any of us in life to absolutely, when you wake up in the morning, all the way till the time that you lay your head on the pillow, have you nailed your day? And have you done everything you possibly could do to maximize yourself as a worker or a family person or a teammate or whatever the categories are? Have you done that? And that's a hard thing to answer yes to. And if you can, do it one day at a time, it turns into 1 day equals 2, and then 2 equals a third. And one day in a row for the entire season is really hard to do if you think about it as in terms of doing it for 6 months. But in terms of doing it for one day, it becomes manageable, and that's what we're trying to get them to do.
Is that rotation part of the Tuesday meetings as well? Do you guys have an idea?
Yeah.
Just I'm going to talk to Sider later, but what have you seen from him over the fall and the spring?
He's been consistent. He's a consistent pitcher. He's around the zone. And I think for the most part, I don't know if our starting pitching is absolute lockdown starting pitching, but they're good. They can pitch. I didn't know that Robbie Ahlstrom was going to be a lockdown starting pitcher. I really had my doubts. I know back in 2012, we were wondering if Alex Cadell, he didn't sure look like a starting, horse, and he wins Pac-12 pitcher of the year in the conference. And so, I like the options. Sider's a good option. RJ Gordon's pitched exceptionally well. There's probably about 4 or 5 other guys that have pitched very, very well. By frontline, absolute dominant starter that a guy's going to go out there and strike out like a Bauer or a Cole back at UCLA guys. Those guys were dominant arms, or even at Arizona when I had Preston Gilmet that was pretty much winning Pac-12 pitcher of the week every single week and striking out somewhere between 12 and 16 guys a weekend. Do we have that? Time will tell. I'm not real sure. I hope we do, and it's exciting because the Siders and the Gordons and these guys that are competing and have been competing for starting spots throw the ball over the plate. They're really competitive, and it's been nice to see.
Is Mercado in that group of 4 or 5 guys, or what do you kind of see his role being this year?
Good question. He's been really effective with everything that he's been doing. He's been one of our better guys, and so I'm sure we'll see quite a bit of him.
Coach, we're going to get to talk to Jeffrey here in a little bit, but what was the process like of getting him out of the portal, and what has he really brought to this outfield?
Well, he's brought depth, and this, he's just like pretty much all the players. He's had his moments of good and his moments where you scratch your head. Lately, he's really developed. I mean, he's really, he's going to be a hot topic of discussion tomorrow in our meetings for sure, because he's earned it. Unbelievable human being. What a kid. And that's the thing you don't know, especially with portal these days. At least in our game, we're not. Our game's not like maybe some of the other games that are big on the nil and the money stuff out there. Our game's usually, not always, but usually, if there's a guy that jumps in the portal, there could be some real baggage with that player, and so boy, you got to really do your homework. No baggage on Jeffrey Hurd. The kid's a stud, a fantastic human being. He's been a great teammate. He works his tail off every single day. I've loved being around him. He's always very appreciative as well with everything. He's been a joy.
When did he pop up on your radar? Was it after his performance in the Cal Ripken Summer League, or when he got up to the Cape, or when did he pop up for you guys?
No, just every day we have a process where it's just we've got a staff that monitors the portal, and so for every name, no matter where they come from, we do thorough checks on any name that pops up. And so as soon as they pop up, we look into it and try to find as much information as we can to see if that's somebody we should be recruiting or not. And he checked a lot of boxes, so we're on it.
What's the back end of the bullpen competition look like going into this weekend?
There's a lot of good names there, a lot of good names. There's freshmen guys that have great arms, from Cole Stokes all the way through guys that are old junior college guys, Mikey Friend, old portal guys. I mean, there's a lot of guys in that back end that could jump into those slots. I think we're going to really that'll be a strength of the ball club. We're going to be able to shorten some games. And so having a lead after 5 innings, 6 innings, I really like our chances with the options we have down there in the back end.
Last couple of years, you guys have had like a true closer, whether it's Melyssa or Summers earlier. Is that the same idea you're going to have this year, or is it going to be maybe more by committee?
I don't love a committee deal. I like a guy that knows that he's getting the ball in the 7th inning, the 8th inning, the 9th inning, and I think that's most settling is when you know you're going to pitch and you know that this is my inning or my time kind of thing, and going into it like give me the lead. 6th inning is going to be this guy, and it's going to be scripted out pretty much every day. I think that's when they pitch and play the best, and so I'd like to get it to that point. I think it's going to be the 3 weeks leading into the season, the Pac-12 season I'm talking about. The 3 weeks of prep beforehand is going to determine a lot of that.
What are some of the characteristics that you like to see from either a setup guy or a closer out of the bullpen? What makes a good closer?
Hardest outs. They're the hardest outs in the game usually to get. got to have a mentality. They got to pound the zone with strikes. They got to be able to bounce back from failure, because occasionally they're going to get you. Usually that closer, he's coming into a hairy spot, right? You know, it's probably a 1-run lead or a 2-run, 3-run lead, and now that closer's in the game. And so, you know, a lot of starters, they give up a run, 2 runs, 3 runs, it may be a great outing. And for a closer, that may have just lost the game. And so those guys have to be resilient mentally, really tough. And I think there's several guys this year that could easily slot into that have fit that description so far from what we've seen.
We talked to Drew Cowley a few weeks back, and just kind of curious what you think he's improved most on throughout the offseason after a really good freshman year.
Drew Smith.
Drew Smith, sorry.
Drew
Cowley,
Smith.
huh?
Yeah, I was going to say,
What happens?
man, I get Cowley back again? That'd be fun.
You're welcome.
No, Drew Smith, he's, you know, now with Sabine gone at third, you know, he's got the nod over there. He's been doing a really good job. Him, Bennett Thompson, and Jacob Walsh, you know, assuming those guys are healthy and stuff like that, those guys are going to get and have earned the run early on, right? Those guys have earned it from a year ago, and they should get the longest rope to start the season. Drew's really been known as a good defender his whole life, and he's just offensively really developed a lot. We saw that last year, and a lot of big hits in the super regional specifically. But great kid again, team guy. He's a good player.
You talked about having both your corners on the infield and behind the dish kind of locked in there. How are you feeling up the middle on the infield? Who's getting the best run there right now?
Well, good options. You know, I mean, Maddox Maloney, you know, him and Ryan Cooney from the freshman side of it have really jumped in and done a nice job. You know, Carter Grotti, he returns along with Jack Brooks. Carter played a lot last year until he got injured. And then, you know, somebody pretty much took his spot and ran with it when he was hurt, kind of Wally pipped him. But, you know, those 4 guys are in the mix right there for those 2 spots, and they've all played very well.
So things to sort out heading into opening day for Duck baseball. The pitching rotation, Isaac Aon getting banged up. The Ducks still figuring that out this week as practice continues, and then we'll travel to Texas on Thursday. First pitch coming up 1 o'clock. Now it's a tournament, so things could adjust, but no matter what, pregame show begins 15 minutes before the scheduled first pitch. Ryan Milano will have the call. His debut with the baseball team. Called softball over the last couple years. Now Knight, who's directing the show today, was on the road with Oregon softball this weekend. Heard from those guys yesterday. Ryan will be on the call for Duck baseball coming up. And I get to host a Monday show again. Ryan's been hosting on Mondays. They're coming back a little later in the day on Monday, so I get to brush it off and get ready for a Monday recap show. How about that? That's on the horizon. When we come back, NFL Combine news for the Ducks. Some future pro Ducks. That's next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B. I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. My thanks to Coach Lombardi. My thanks to Val. It's going to be a thing, right? Like, Knight and Scott are like, yeah, it works. I think it's going to work. Just Val. Yep. Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director, joining us today. Heard from Mark Wazakowski getting ready for their trip for Oregon Baseball opening day on Friday. Also, the NFL Combine is coming up. 7 members of the 2023 Duck football team, they officially received invitations to that scouting combine, tying for the most in program history. 2024 NFL Combine scheduled for February 26th to March 4th at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Defensive end Brandon Dorless, wide receiver Troy Franklin, running back Bucky Irving, cornerback Kyrie Jackson, quarterback Bo Nix, center Jackson Powers Johnson, and safety Evan Williams will be among the 321 total players invited to this year's Combine. Oregon's 7 invitees are its most since 2020, and it matches 2020, 2015, 2012, 2009, and 2007 for the most in program history. Live coverage of that scouting combine begins February 29th on NFL Network. We'll, of course, be tuning in, keeping track of everything going on around the Combine, some future pro ducks coming up for Oregon athletics. Oregon women's golf freshman Kiara Romero made her first hole-in-one as a Duck on Monday. Individual leader through 36 holes at the San Diego State Classic. The number 7 Ducks were in 3rd place entering play today. Concluding that tournament today throughout this morning. We'll have updates for you tomorrow. Tomorrow's show, a lot of basketball. See you then.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh.